Islam, Islamism. Bismillah. I'm always mute your phone.
It's Sean.
Always mute your phone. Islam, Islamism. Bismillah. Rahman Rahim. Holy Emmanuel, Dada Islamism. Ramadan Mubarak. Ramadan Kareem. Juma Kareem. Ever seeking refuge from the accursed one and rising to my height sights, giving perfect praises to Allah, Motherfucker God of the universe, and honoring all true and divine prophets, seen, known, and unknown, and to our illustrious Hebrew prophet in these days and time, Prophet Noble Juwan. Extending those honors to our National Grand Chief Joel Breton Bay, and to our officials in Baltimore and other republics, to our sheiks and sheikesses.
I think I'm here. Hello?
Islam. Mute your phones, please.
Oh, sorry.
Islam. Deputy sheikesses, deputy sheiks, our family, friends, visitors, guests on the call. Honors to Marcus Messiah Garvey, the forerunner, and to the ancient spirit that guides us through these turbulent times. Greeting all in love with Islam. I'm Deputy Sheikh Mikhail Bashir Bey, heading from the New York Republic. Shabbat Shalom. Islam, boys, mute your lines. Islam boys, mute your phones. Islam. Today's date, 25th June 2020. Welcoming all to our Moorish Holy Friday conference call, brought to you by the Moorish Science Temple of America, the Divine and National Movement of North America Incorporated, number 13, the Moorish American National Republic. Mute your phones, people. Put your phones on mute. Islam. And as we proceed, we will begin with our Moorish American prayer. So I'll asking all the Moors, all on the call, who are able to stand in your Moorish American posture with our feet at a 45-degree angle, arms in the air, 5 fingers on the left, 2 fingers on the right, keeping them tight, and facing the east. Islam. Allah, Father of the universe, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is our protector, our guide, and our salvation. By night and by day, His holy prophet, U.A.A. Amen. Lamas, welcome, welcome. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Happy Holy Creation Day to all. And I'll proceed in reading over the Moorish Divine Constitutional Bylaws. The star the crescent and star of salvation, the all-seeing eyes of Allah, the handpress of unity. The Moorish Science Temple of America, the divine constitution and bylaws by Prophet Noble U.S.A, founder. Act 1. The Grand Sheikh, the chairman of the Moorish Science Temple of America, is empowered to make law and enforce laws with the assistance of the Prophet and the Grand Body of the Moorish Science Temple of America. The assistance of the Grand Sheikh is to assist the Grand Sheikh in all affairs if he lives according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And this is known before the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Act 2. All meetings are to be open and closed promptly according to the Circle 7 and love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Friday is our holy day of rest because on a Friday the first man was formed in flesh, and on a Friday the first man departed out of flesh and ascended unto his Father God Allah. For that cause, Friday is the holy day for all Muslims all over the world. Act 3. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice must be proclaimed and practiced by all members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. No member is to put in danger or accuse falsely his brother or sister on any occasion at all. That may be his brother or sister, because Allah is love. Mute your phone, Morris.
No.
Yes, no. Mute your phone. Rockmanil. Mute your line, Rockmanil. Georgio. Islam. Act 4. All members must preserve these holy and divine laws, and all members must obey the laws of the government, because by being a Moorish American, you are a part and parcel of the government and must live the life accordingly. Act 5. This organization of the Moorish Science Temple of America is not to cause any confusion or to overthrow the laws and constitution of the said government, but to obey hereby. Act 6. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they must know that they are part and parcel of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble U.S.A, the Prophet, to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites, whom inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Act 7. All members must promptly attend their meetings and become a part and a partial of all of 15 acts of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Members must pay their dues and keep in line with all necessities of the Moorish Science Temple of America, and then you're entitled to the name of faithful husband. You must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother and be industrious and become a part of the uplifting of all humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and their minds pure with love, their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is Noble U.S.A, through the guidance of his Father God, Allah. Brother George Eel, mute your line. And at this time, we will proceed in the reading of the additional laws. Islam, or Brother Paul, be with us.
Islam.
Islam, or
Islam. All is well.
All is truly well. And yourself, Mo?
All is well. Can't complain. Can't complain.
Allah. Islam.
Alhamdulillah. Allah. I would like to rise to my highest heights and give all perfect praise to the Mother, Father, God, Allah of the universe. I give honors to all our ancestors, known and unknown, recognize, naming all the true and divine prophets, naming Yashua, Muhammed, Buddha, Confucius, and the last prophet in these days and times, our illustrious Hebrew prophet, Noble Drew, Allah, in his first, second, and third form. Extending those honors to our National Grand Sheikh, Joe Bratton Bray, and all the national officials, all the sheikesses, deputy sheiks, deputy sheikesses, and the members and guests. I greet you with Islam. I'm going to be reading the questionnaire and additional laws for the Moorish American by the Prophet Noble Drew Allah. Act 1. Grand Sheikh and governors and heads of all temples, all businesses, each said temple must be approved by the Prophet Noble Drew Allah before acting upon by any members. Let it be finance, property, or any line of life that will cause the member to sacrifice finance, etc., that will cause the support of any group of members. Any former officer that violates these laws is subjected to be removed from his office under a heavy restriction, etc., by the Prophet or the Grand Sheikh. Act 2. All members are to attend their adept meeting and their public meeting promptly. If a member is found standing around on their meeting period, shall be fined 50 cents on the first case, and on the second, he will be fined $1, which will go on your emergency fund. If members is working, his monthly dues must be paid. If he has money in the bank, he must subscribe for as much as he is able to the Moorish uplifting funds, because it takes finance to uplift a nation. Act 3. It is lawful and divine duty of every good member, if he is able in finance, to aid me in saving the nation. And if he does not, he is an enemy to the cause of uplifting his own people, and justice must catch you. Let it be he or she according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, as I have the power invested in my hands, and I will have to enforce the law in order to save the nation. Act 4. All members, while making public speech, must not use any assertion, against the American flag, or speak radical against the church or any member of any organized group, because we are to teach love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Act 5. All members must promptly attend their meetings and send their children to Sunday school, and the teachers must confirm himself to the questionnaire, and let every member exercise his 5 senses who is able to do so, because out from your Sunday school comes the guiders of the nation. Act 6. With all members must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are part and partial of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live. and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Drew Allah, the prophet, to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites who inhabited the northwest and southwest shores of Africa. Acts 7. All members must promptly attend their meeting and become a part and a partial of all uplifting acts of the Moorish Science Temples. Members must pay their dues and keep in line with all necessities of the Moorish Science Temple. Then you are entitled to the name of faithful. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother and be industrious and become part of the uplifting of fallen humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from your holy prophet, Noble Drew Allah, through the guidance of his father, God Allah. And that concludes the questionnaire reading. Islam.
Thanks for the reading of the additional bylaws, my brother. Jerome Paulo. Islam Moors, today, unfortunately, we do not have a call monitor, so we will have to monitor ourselves. So I'm asking all on the call to mute, use the mute button on your call, on your phones, to mute your lines because these calls are being recorded, please. Islam? Islam. Brother George, you?
Islam, Deputy Sheikh.
Islam. Sheikh Arton. How you doing today, my brother?
All is well, family. I was gonna say just for the sake of the flow of the call, you might just have to mute them.
I have no control, my brother.
Yeah.
All right. Islam, give thanks, my brother.
Yes.
Brother George, you? Are you with us?
Islam, Deputy Sheikh.
Islamism. You know, this is your time, and at this time we normally read our Shabbat prayer brought to us by our Divine Minister Sheikh Ramaya Il. Yes, and we are instructed to read this dua prayer at 7.
Islam, Deputy Sheikh. Islam, Mosh.
Islam, more. 1 second.
May I go ahead? Deputy
One
Sheikh?
second more. 1 second. Yeah, so as I was saying, at 7 or at sundown, we are instructed to read this prayer. And no matter where in the world we as Muslims are, it signifies a unity between us. So here is our Holy Friday dua. Islam, or you could proceed. Islam. And how you doing today, sir?
Good, brethren. All is well.
Wonderful. Islam, Morris, please mute your phone.
Islam?
Islam or
Yeah,
proceed.
I muted myself unknowingly. Islam.
All is well.
Islam. Rising to my highest height. I am Islam. I am Brother George calling out of Quebec Republic, rising to my highest heights, giving all perfect praise to our Mother, Father, God, Allah, the Father of the universe. While I remain standing, I give honors to all our divine prophets, beginning with Jesus, Muhammed, Buddha, Confucius, and in these last days and time, our holy and divine prophet, Honorable Noble Jew Ali. I give honors to our national Grand Sheikh, Joel Bratton Bay, and to all our ancestors, known and unknown, and to all sheikhs, deputy sheikhs, sheikesses and deputy sheikesses, all ministers, members, friends, family, I say happy holy night to you all, and Islam and peace. Bringing in during the Sabbath. Bismillah. In the name of Allah. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. O Most High, thou the creators of all there is, thou the all of life, the omniscient, the all providing, the all of love. We come to thee this Sabbath Eve, grateful for your imbuing us with the radiant substance of health these 7 days past, endowing us with the vibrant presence in all areas of our living. We thank thee for the blessings of divine substance of wealth flowing into our lives these 7 days past, filling our lives with abundance and greatness. We thank you for all these blessings, and we bless thy name and worship thee and thee alone. We bless the creation past and pray thou wilt find our deeds, our work, our service to thee approving in thy sight. By your grace, we love thee, we love thee, we love thee, O Most High. We bless the creation yet manifesting, thanking thee for the breath of life and the radiant substance of health permeating our being, endowing us with the vibrant presence in all areas of our lives, ever praying that our deeds, our work, our service to thee in this creation will be found approving in thy sight. Inshallah. We thank thee for the flow of the divine substance of wealth, this creation filling our lives with abundance and greatness. We thank you. Truly without thee, the all-providing, we are lost. And with thee, the omnipotent, the victory is ever ours. We thank you for your indwelling spirit, speaking and directing us to our best and highest good. May we ever hear your voice, heed your words, and manifest your will. May our hearts ever know thy presence, our mind overflow with thy thoughts, our eyes see thy divinity, our mouth speak thy words, and our hands accomplish thy work, our feet walk thy path. We thank you for the wisdom to know thy will, the fortitude to manifest thy will, the perseverance to persist in thy way until thy will be done. We love and thank you, Divine One. We love and thank you for every opportunity to serve thee, to accomplish thy will. Thy will be done. May thy indwelling spirit guide and protect us this creation as we build and manifest thy divine estate in the living now, giving thanks and praises to thee and thee alone. We love thee. We love thee. We love thee, O Most High. Amen. Ashe. Amunra. Shila. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. And this is the conclusion of our Holy Night prayer. I say, Happy Holy Night to each and every more. And now I return the floor to our Deputy Sheikh, Islam.
Islam, Islam, Islam. Thank you for that divine read, brother. Judge, may Allah bless the reading of our dua, our additional laws, and our divine constitution and bylaws. Islam. Islamism.
Islam Deputy Sheikh in Calgary. This is Deputy Sheikh Carolyn Youngbay. I'd step up and be the moderator for tonight if you like.
Islam Sheikhs. Hey, you know what? Seems like you was reading my mind. Give thanks for your divine service. And may Allah bless you.
Islam, not a problem.
Islamism.
Islam. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. This is Deputy Sheikh Carolyn Youngbay calling out of Wayne County, North Carolina Republic. I will be facilitating the Holy Night Conference call this evening, Friday, Friday, June 25th, 2021. Again, I want to welcome everybody to our Friday night Holy Night call given by the Moorish Science Temple, the Divine and National Movement of North America Incorporated, number 13, Moorish American National Republic. First, I want to rise giving all perfect praises to Allah and to all of our ancestors, known and unknown, to all of our true and divine prophets, naming and recognizing Jesus, Muhammed, Buddha, and Confucius, and the last prophet in these days and times, our Redeemer, our illustrious Hebrew prophet, Noble Drew Ali, in his first, second, and third form. I extend my honors to the forerunner, to Noble Drew Ali, Marcus Mosiah Garvey, and to our National Grand Sheikh, Joe Bratton Bay, to all national officials, to the sheikhs, sheikesses, deputy sheikhs, deputy sheikesses, brothers and sisters, visitors and guests, and parents and students in our Sunday school, and everyone on the call, I greet you all with Islam. Since we've already had the reading of our Shabbat prayer, I'm just going to ask everyone at this time, those that are on the call with us, if you would like to greet the family that's present tonight. You can press **, unmute your phones, tell us where you're calling from, and you have the floor. Islam.
Islam?
Islam.
Islam Sheikhs, can I be heard?
Loud and clear.
Islam, this is Brother Justin Levi and Sister Levi. I'm in Louisiana Republic. Happy Holy Night, Shabbat Shalom. To all the brothers and sisters on the call, peace and love.
Islam. Thank you, brother. Thank you so much for checking in. Is there anyone else that would like to check in? Introduce yourself. Islam.
Islam, this is Sister Rachel Waite Bay and family calling in from the calling in from the New Jersey Republic. Just like to say happy Holy Night to all of the Muslims on the call and around the world. Shabbat Shalom. Islam and peace.
Islam. Thank you, sister. We appreciate your presence tonight. You
Islam.
Islam.
Islam. This is Brother Gore L. calling from the South. Brother Gore L's pardon self. Brother Gore L and family calling from the South Carolina Republic. Wishing all the Muslims on the call happy holy day, happy holy night. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom. Peace.
Islam. Thank you, Brother Gore L and family. We appreciate your presence here tonight. Thank you for depositing your positive energy with us tonight. Islam. Is there anyone else that'd like to chime in? Let us know where you're calling from.
Islam.
Islam.
Islam Sheikhs. This is Sister Charlene Culverhouse out in New York Republic calling in to say happy holy night to all the Muslims all over the world. Happy holy night.
Islam, Sister Culverhouse. Thank you so much for depositing your positive energy this evening. We're glad to have you with us. Islam. Islam. Anyone else? Islam, is someone trying to come in?
Islam.
Islam.
This is Brother Jermaine Williams, L, calling in from Detroit, Michigan Republic. Happy holy night to all the Muslims on the line and all across the world. Shabbat shalom.
Islam, brother. Thank you so much for checking in. I'm glad to have you with us this evening. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else? Someone else trying to check in?
Greetings, brothers. I'm Sean. I'm just listening.
Islam, brother. Thank you so much for listening. We hope that you will get something out of the lesson tonight and share your thoughts and your demonstrating your 5 senses with us tonight. If you feel like you just want to chime in and say Islam, that'll be enough. But right now, we'd like to thank you for being with us tonight. Islam.
Thank you. I appreciate it, sister. Thank you so much.
Islam.
And greetings to all brothers and sisters.
Islam. Remember, Moors, if you're not speaking, please mute your line.
Islam.
Islam.
Islam Sheikhs. Great to hear your vibrations. This is Brother Edward Walker Bay out of Washington State Republic. Just wanted to let the family know I'm listening in. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom. Peace and love.
Islam, brother. Thank you so much for checking in with us tonight. Good to hear your vibrations as well. Praying that all is well with you and the family. Islam. Islam. Anyone else checking in with us tonight?
Islam.
Islam.
Islam Sheikhs, how are you?
Islam, brother. I'm doing fabulous. How about you?
I'm fine, thank you. This is Brother Joseph Kishui from Quebec Republic. Wishing everybody a happy holy night, all the Muslims around the world and everybody on the line. Islam Sheikh.
Islam, brother. Thank you so much for checking in with us tonight. Glad to have you on the call with us. Islam family, anyone else checking in? Islam. Okay, so then we'll go into our chapter this evening, coming from our Holy Quran for the Moorish Science Temple of America. Divine instructions from the Prophet. We'll be going into chapter 18 tonight. Is it possible to have a reader, someone to volunteer to read for us tonight?
Islam. Islam. This is Sheikh Young Bay, Lawrence Young Bay, Divine Minister.
out of North Carolina Republic. This is the national treasure and divine minister. First I rise giving all perfect praises to Allah and to all our ancestors, some we know of and some we don't, and to all our true and divine prophets, just to name a few: Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, Confucius, and the last prophet in these days and times, our Redeemer, our illustrious Hebrew prophet, Noble Drew Allah, in his first, second, and third form. I extend my honors to the forerunner for Noble Drew Allah, Marcus Mosiah Garvey, and to our national Grand Sheikh, our Grand Body, to Sheikhs, Sheikesses, Deputy Sheikhs, Deputy Sheikesses, brothers and sisters, and parents and students in our Sunday school, and everyone on the call. I greet you with love and Islam, Islam, Islam. Happy holy night to all the Muslims on the call and all those who wish they could be on the call, to all the Muslims around the world. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. I'll be reading chapter 18 of our Circle 7, Holy Koran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, Divine Instruction from the Prophet. Chapter 18, the Resurrection of Jesus. Pilate places the Roman seal upon the stone door of the tomb. At midnight, a company of silent brotherhood march about the tomb. The soldiers are alarmed. Jesus teaches to the spirits in prison. Early Sunday morning, he rises from the tomb. The soldiers are bribed by the priest to say that the disciples had stolen the body. The tomb in which they laid the body of the Lord was in a garden rich with flowers, in a garden of Salome, and Joseph's home was near. Before the watch began, Caiaphas sent a company of priests out to the garden of Salome, that they might be assured that Jesus' body was within the tomb. They rolled the stone away. They saw the body there, and then they placed the stone again before the door. And Pilate sent his scribe, who placed upon the stone the seal of Rome, in such a way that he who moved it would break the seal. To break this Roman seal meant death to him who broke the seal. The Jewish soldiers all were sworn to faithfulness, and then the watch began. At midnight, all was well, but suddenly the tomb began to blaze of light, and down the garden walk a troop of white-clad soldiers marching in single file. They came up to the tomb and marched and countermarched before the door. The Jewish soldiers were alert. They thought his friends had come to steal the body of the Nazarene. The captain of the guard cried out to charge. They charged, but not a white-clad soldier fell. They did not even stop. They marched and countermarched among the frightened men. They stood upon the Roman seal. They did not speak. They unsheathed not their swords. It was the silent brotherhood. The Jewish soldiers fled in fear. They fell upon the ground. They stood apart until the white-clad soldiers marched away, and then the light about the tomb grew dim. Then they returned. The stone was in its place. The seal was not disturbed, and they resumed their watch. Now Jesus did not sleep within the tomb. The body is manifested of the soul. The soul is without its manifest. And in the realm of souls unmanifest, the Lord went and taught. He opened up the prison doors and set the prisoners free. He broke the chain of captive souls and led the captive souls to the light. He sat in council with the patriarchs and prophets of the olden times, the masters of all times and climes he met. And in the great assemblies, he stood forth and told the story of his life on earth and of the death in sacrifice for men, and of his promises to clothe himself again in garb of flesh and walk with his disciples, just to prove the possibilities of man, to give them the key to life, the death, inshallah, of death, and the resurrection of the dead. The council, all the masters sat and talked about the revelation of the coming age, when she, the holy breath, shall fill the earth and air with holy breath and open up the way of man to perfectness and endless life. The Garden of Siloam was silent on the seventh day. The Jewish soldiers watched, and no one else approached the tomb. But on the following night, the scene was changed. At midnight, every Jewish soldier heard a voice which said, Adon, Mashis, Kumah, which meant, Lord God, arise. And they suppose again the friends of Jesus were alert, were coming up to take the body of their Lord away. The soldiers were alert with swords unsheathed and drawn, and they heard the words again. It seemed as though the voice was everywhere, and yet they saw no man. The soldiers blanched with fear, and still to flee meant to death for cowardness, and so they stood and watched. Again, all this was before the sun arose. The heavens blazed with light. A distant thunder seemed to herald forth a coming storm. And then the earth began to quake, and in the rays of light, they saw a form descend from heaven. They said, Behold, an angel comes. And then they heard again, Adam, Mashit, Kumam. And then the white-robed form tramped on the Roman seal, and then he tore it into shreds. He took the mighty stone in his hand as though they were a pebble on the book and cast it to the side. And Jesus opened his eyes and said, all hail the rising sun, coming of the day of righteousness. And then he folded up his burial.
I tell you I was taking this phone.
His head to bands and his coverings and laid them on all aside. He arose and for a moment stood beside the white-robed form. The weaker soldiers fell to the ground and hid their faces in their hands. The stronger stood and watched. They saw the body of the Nazarene transmute. They saw it change from mortal to immortal form, and then it disappeared. The soldiers heard a voice from everywhere. Yeah, from everywhere it said, peace, peace on earth, goodwill to men. They looked. The tomb was empty, and the Lord had risen as he said. The soldiers hastened to Jerusalem and to the priest and said, behold, the Nazarene has arisen, as he said. The tomb is empty, and the body of the man is gone. We know not where it is. And then they told about the wonders of the night. Caiaphas called a council of the Jews. He said, the news must not go forth that Jesus has arisen from the dead. For if it does, all men will say he is the Son of Allah, and all men's testimonials will be proven false. SubhanAllah, all our testimonials will be proven false. And then they called the 100 soldiers in and said to them, you know not where the body of the Nazarene is resting now. So if you will go forth and say that his disciples came and stole the body while you slept, each one of you shall have a silver piece and will make it bright with polish for the breaking of the Roman seal. The soldiers did as they were paid to do. This concludes the reading of the Circle 7, Chapter 18, Islam. I'll turn it back to the hands of the moderator, Deputy Sheikh Curlin Young Bay, Islam.
Islam. Thank you, Divine Minister, for that read, Chapter 18. At this time, family, I will give some context from the commentary about Chapter 18, the resurrection of Jesus. The soldiers are bribed by the priest to say that the disciples had stolen the body. Before I do that, I'm going to give anyone else a chance that hasn't checked in to check in now. Islam, anyone wanting to check in at this time may do so. Press **, unmute your lines. Tell us where you're calling from. Islam?
Islam, brother Andre Winbush from Detroit, Michigan, giving praises to the Most High, Abba, Father of the universe, and honors to beloved prophet, last prophet in these days, Angel Ali, and honors to all the Moors, and honors to everything was pre and given. Peace and love and peace.
Islam, Brother Winbush Bay. Thank you so much for checking in with us. Good to hear your vibrations this evening. Islam, anyone else checking in?
That's definitely Brother Winbush.
Islam?
Islam, sister. Islam, I think you may have some static on your end, sister, but if you want to check in, try to maybe call back.
Islam?
Okay, Islam, sister.
Islam Deputy Sheikis. All is well with you?
All is well, sister. How about you?
All is truly well. My name is Sister Nadej Joseph from Quebec Republic. Just checking in, wishing all the Muslims on the call, all around the world, and happy holy day, happy holy night. Peace.
Islam, sister. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom. Thank you so much for checking in with us this evening. Good to hear your vibrations this evening. Thank you. Is there anyone else that needs to check in? Islam. So I will be reading some commentary for chapter 18. This chapter of the Holy Instructions concerns us with the resurrection of Yashua, Isa, Jesus, and brings us a much fuller picture than has been previously read or heard. This account offers us a broader concept of the transition as evidenced in the following lessons. The chapter opens at the garden tomb in which the body has been laid. The tomb in the Garden of Siloam belongs to Joseph, a friend and follower of the Christ, and is near Joseph's home. Because of Jesus' insistent and constant comment that the temple would rise in 3 days, the Hebrew priesthood insists on confirmation that the body is truly entered therein. Subsequent to the confirmation, the seal of Rome is placed upon the enclosing stone. There is even a special swearing of the guards before the watch begins. The events found in verses 1 through 6 occurred on the first of the 3 days of the resurrection. As we know, Jesus was put upon the cross on a Friday when he departed out of flesh. According to Hebrew tradition, Friday is considered preparation day, or the day of which we finalize the creation's preparations for the incoming Sabbath. Remember, the evening and the morning constitute a day, so very natural day begins and ends at sunset. Therefore, the Sabbath begins at sunset every Friday and ends sunset every Saturday. So Jesus was placed upon and taken off the cross during the daylight of a Friday. Hebrew customs prohibits leaving the 3 on their crosses during the Sabbath, so all were taken down. This is the first day. The legs of the 2 thieves were broken because they were yet alive, whereas Jesus' legs were left intact and unbroken because he was determined to have passed form. Remember, Quran tells us that they killed him not. And that's the Surah 4, 157 and 158. So the watch begins at the end of preparation day, in parentheses Friday, as day progresses into evening, bringing in the Sabbath, the second day, and on into the night, when at midnight, the chapter says the tomb became a blazing light as a cadre at the silent brotherhood appear marching and counter-marching in front of the tomb. The marchers are untouched and unaffected by the soldiers who charge them, only to find their efforts totally unnoticed and unregarded by the marchers. Completing their purpose, the brotherhood stand upon the Roman seal and soon thereafter march away. Inspecting the seal, the soldiers determined all to be in order, so they continued their watch. The next verses, 15 through 24, speak to the activities of Jesus on the plane of souls. Remember, it was on a Friday when he departed out of flesh, beginning operations in the realm of souls unmanifest, verse 16. Verse 25 returns us to the Garden of Siloam, which was silent on the Sabbath day. It remained so until the following night, when the scene was changed. So, from the Friday sunset until the Saturday sunset, all was peaceful and undisturbed, at least physically speaking, as the soldiers were no doubt tense and anxious about the midnight showing of the Brotherhood. Remember, these events occurred during the Sabbath, that is between sunset Friday and sunset Saturday. This is the second day. Verses 26 through 43 share the perspective of the soldiers who at midnight hear an omnipresent voice calling forth the entombed one, upon which the soldiers unsheath swords and await a rescue attempt. Yet they see no one. In the dark of night, the soldiers then witness the heavens blazed with light, distant thunder, a coming storm, a quaking earth, and in the rays of light, a form descended from heaven. The soldiers then watched as the white-robed form tramped on the Roman seal, tore it into shreds, took the mighty stone in his hand, and cast it to the side. The soldiers see Jesus open his eyes, arise, fold his burial garments, transmute from form mortal to immortal, and then disappear. After all had passed, and the soldiers had only an empty tomb to guard, they left to report to the priests. This is the third day, the day of resurrection, not counted in hours, but from sunset to sunset, as is our Hebrew tradition. Of course, upon hearing the events, the priesthood conspired to conceal the truth, paying the soldiers to keep their silence, except to tell the lie that Jesus' disciples stole the body while they slept. As so many of today's Christian soldiers, these also were bought off and bossed. Scriptures that tie into this chapter are Matthew 27, verse 57 through 66, and Matthew 28, Mark 15, verse 40 through 47, and Mark 16. Luke 23, 49 through 56. Luke 24, 1 through 6. John 19:30 through 42. Note verses 39 and 40, which refer to a mixture of myrrh and alloys. Myrrh and alloys are used to repair and heal the body. Myrrh and alloys are used for healing and not herbs used to prepare a body for burial. Islam, sisters and brothers, at this time, if there's anyone that would like to exercise their 5 senses on this chapter, I, for one, of course, when I read this chapter, I'm thinking it's a whole lot different from what I had been taught in earlier years, of course, through the Christian demonstration. And it was a more epic drama in my mind reading this than what I had been taught, in earlier years, in my earlier years. And so I don't know, it just kind of played out a whole different scenario. You think about the things that and I'm speaking for myself, the things that I had been taught that, that Jesus actually died on the cross, and that it was God that was ripping the I guess it was the tent, and they said that he ripped it from the bottom to the top to make sure that something about that it wouldn't be said that man had ripped it or something like that. But it's a whole different story from what, of course, I had again been taught at a younger age. So I'm just wondering if anybody else has, in their mind, see a whole different story, and if so, if they could, kind of express what they understood coming from this chapter. Islam, anyone that would like to use their 5 senses and speak on this chapter or any other chapter or any questions, we'll see if we can get through
Islam.
this. Islam,
Deputy Sheikis, can I be heard?
Islam, loud and clear.
Thank you much, beloved. Islam, this is Justin Levi out of Louisiana Republic. I would like to rise to my highest heights and give all perfect praises to Allah, the Mother, Father, God of the universe. I would like to extend honors to all true and divine prophets, Jesus, Muhammed, Buddha, and Confucius, all of our ancestors, those that we speak of and those that we don't. I would like to remain standing and extend honors to our national officials at headquarters, our National Grand Sheikh, Joe Bratton Bay, all Sheikesses, Sheiks, Deputy Sheiks, and Deputy Sheikesses, all of our members, our illustrious children, our guests, everyone on the call, and those who are not able to be on. I would like to greet everyone in and with Islam. Shabbat Shalom and Holy Night. Islam, just my 5 senses I like to exercise on this chapter and what I got out of it and how it relates to our noble prophet, Noble Drew Ali. I always, since I've been in this movement, I was always told our prophet broke the Roman seal. This chapter actually explains to me how our prophet broke the Roman seal, even our prophet Jesus, and within the secret brotherhood, and how Jesus means justice to us, but we also know that truth is the holy breath, and he also brought us the truth, which which same thing our prophet did, which through our nationality and birthright, he was able to free us out of that mental and physical and political bondage that we were in, as it relates to the word prisoners that were in, or as it relates to the word prisoners that's in this chapter, when it said that Jesus came and he basically freed the prisoners from captivity. Islam. Oh, relate this. A lot of parts in this chapter made me think about our noble prophet, Noble Drew Ali, and how it relates to us in this day and time. How he came and gave us that truth, and he resurrected us from the dead. And just how Jesus resurrected, I look at it more in a more of a metaphysical form more than a physical form. But Jesus, it does show how Jesus demonstrates um, in front of everyone, in front of the Romans, the physical resurrection also. I still have questions about that also, Deputy Sheikis, because that's, in the European um, psychology that we were brought up in the church. I was taught the same way you were taught. Jesus, brother, prophet, transition on the cross, and that was that. That's all I was taught. And I grew up in Catholic society, which Rome, how they do with the falsehood. But to make a long story short, that's this all I had really exercising my five on the chapter. It reminded me of how our prophet resurrected us from the dead. We were on a dead level. We were prisoners trapped, prisoners of war, actually trapped under the brands of Negro, Black, Colored, Ethiopian, and our prophet came to uplift us, give us that truth, and he resurrected us from the dead. And that's what this chapter reminds me of. Uh, and that's all I had on Dial Plate in my heart. I just wanted to get the ball rolling. Islam, peace and love. Happy Holy Night.
Islam, brother, thank you so much for that powerful demonstration. And you're right. When I think about the tomb, I think about that we all were kind of in a tomb state of mind because we were we weren't on that higher consciousness, that Christ consciousness, and so that was I guess a risen demonstration for us, getting the truth. The prophet brought us the truth, and so we that's our rise into Christ consciousness. So yes, I totally understand where you're coming from. Thank you so much, brother, for that. Islam. Is there anyone else who would like to exercise their five senses? Islam. So in Islam, Deputy Sheikh.
Islamism. Good thanks, my sister. Ever rise and giving perfect praises to Allah, the Father God of the universe. And honoring all true and divine prophets, seen, unseen, known, unknown, and reincarnated.
Those are your weird ass.
And to illustrious Hebrew prophet in these days and time, Prophet Noble Joe Allah. Then it was honors to our National Grand Sheikh, Gerald Breton Bay, and to our officials in Baltimore, to our children, family, friends, associates. Extending those honors to Marcus Messiah, God be the forerunner, and to the ancient spirit that guide us through these turbulent times. Just wanna give a little synopsis about what I thought about this chapter. Something came to mind. There was a movie back, I think, in the 80s with a title about serpent, which it was filmed in Haiti, West Indies. And it was about this fish that they extracted the substance from. I think it was a puffer fish. And it was used on people to make them appear to be dead. There was people who thought that was dead, and after a certain time they came back walking around the community. So that came to mind. So as we know that man is not even conscious of the powers that he has within himself, and just the story of what they told us that Yashua died and resurrected and all of that stuff. And we know that Yashua didn't really die on the cross, so to speak. So I was using that movie to say that a mastermind could slow down the way the heart beats to appear that he's not alive. So just something to more consider, put on the minds. And just gonna talk on a couple of these verses. So it says, let's start at 20. The masters of all times and chimes he met, and in the great assemblies he stood forth and told the story of his life on earth, and of his death in sacrifice for man, and of his promises to clothe himself again in garb of flesh and walk with his disciples, just to prove the possibilities of man. So with Yashua coming to prove the possibilities of man, he was an example, as was all our prophets that came before him. And it says to give to them the key of life, of death, and of the resurrection of the dead. And as we know, man is not flesh and blood, but spirit man, manifested in the flesh, trying to pass a test to get back to the highest levels of life. In the council, all the masters sat and talked about the revelations of the coming age. Coming age could pertain to now, yes? When she, and this is the verse that I'm really more concentrating on, as we say, concentrating, but yes, she, and it's very peculiar that she, the holy breath, which she is in reference to of feminine energy, yeah? Holy breath is truth. Truth is art. Art is a law, and truth cannot pass away. Same as holy breath. Holy breath shall fill the earth and the air with holy breath, and open up the way of man to perfectness and lifeless and endless life. Time never was when man was not. So who is this man that you see in the mirror? Islam was lessons to be studied to improve our behavior. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom. We send on the floor to moderator. Give thanks.
Islam, Deputy Sheikh, thank you very much for that demonstration. Great jewels that you've deposited in our thoughts, Islam. Is there anyone else that would like to use their 5 senses on this chapter?
Islam. Brother Andre Wimbush. I just like to give my little portion of understanding what the brother was saying about the reincarnation of bringing the unconscious Asiatics back to their conscious state of death. We as a people, when we came into this Moorish Science Temple of America, we didn't too much know of ourselves. As the Grand Sheik would say, National Grand Sheik say, we come in with the state black, and most of us come out still not being nationalized, still stuck in that state. We think we got it right, but currently we only got the divine part, but we haven't we haven't been really national to receive the ill or the bay. So that still put us up under Romans law. But it's a blessing getting the divine side of knowing that we woke up from that state of blackness, that unconscious state of knowing who we is, our nationality, our birthright, and everything. And Drew Ali knew he didn't want to wake everybody up at once because ones would tear up something, you know. And as we share the information, pass the information, and breathe on to the ones about this divine information, especially about this Holy Koran, the Holy and Divine Koran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, and they get the truth and know the truth and say to themselves, wow, I love that, you know. I mean, you got to love it, and then once you love it, then you come and be a faithful member to society where you can be really approved and see the faithfulness and keep up with the faithfulness and know that we have to rise. We can't keep being in that state of blackness all the time, walking in that darkness all the time, just being content with with just the pebbles you receive from the bottom. You got to rise up and be who you is. The prophet said he wants strong men and women, you know what I'm saying, upright, independent, and fearless, you know, who stand up for the truth, who say, yeah, I got the truth right here, but I must spread the truth. Now that you got the truth, be careful how you boast of it. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's really of your own good, but you got to do and show and prove. So that state of unconsciousness that we was in, we got to remember we was there at one point in time. And we know sometimes we got to slowly give people the information, and they'll wake up and say to themselves that it's truly a blessing, because Jesus was a pattern, like Noble Drali is a pattern for us. And we see the light, and we must walk in the light and be the light. And then once everyone wake up and get it, and then they know. They ain't making these Walker Dead movies for nothing. They know who they talking about. They know we waking up. They know it. But we just got to get out of that state of that really darkness and stop harming one another and come together. You know, the whole world. What keep us separated? These flags and all that, nationality, how they different ones. You know, we are all Moors, you know, but black, Negro, color, so many names, you know. So we got to wake up. They know we waking up, you know. But with that, I came in peace, and I leave in peace on my portion of understanding what the brother said about that waking us up and getting out that black state of mind, and not being into that dead state of mind of negativity and thinking we something that we don't exist, because Drew Ali did wake us up and gave us divine information who we are. So we know who we is. Peace and love, love and peace.
Islam, brother. Thank you for those jewels. You're exactly right. We have to be the light. We can only bring the light when we become the light. So we have to be the light and walk that walk and talk that talk, and give the same jewels that's been given to us to those that need the truth. Islam. Is there anyone else? You're not speaking. Please mute your lines, Mo. Please mute your lines.
Islam,
stand by, brother. We have someone speaking.
Islam,
brother, go ahead.
Islam, just want to say Shabbat Shalom as well to everyone at the call. It's Brother Curtis Douglas from the New York Republic. First and foremost, I'd like to rise to my highest heights, giving all praise and honors to all divine prophets, Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, Confucius, and our last prophet in these days and time, Noble Drew Ali, in the first, second, and third form. One remain standing, giving thanks and acknowledgement to all sheiks, officials, deputy sheikses, members, guests, and visitors, everyone pretty much under the guidance of our National Grand Sheikh, Joe Bratton Bey. Islam and peace. Just a quick comment, beautiful comments by the brothers who shared, and yourself as well, Deputy Sheikh, who shared prior to myself. One of the things that really stood out while this was being read was just the need for us as light bearers to continue to tell our narrative once we become aware of this truth. In verse 17, it talks about, he said, open up the prison doors and set the prisoners free. And interestingly enough, during that time period, on the plane of soul would pretty much be symbolic of that sixth day, which is pretty much, to me, connect to Act 6, similar to what one of the brothers were sharing prior, just the connection between this reading and what Noble Drew Ali did. What the Europeans here did in the form of that Roman energy, breaking that Roman seal, was basically taking an oath or just making sure that that stone was not removed to keep the truth suppressed, which comes back to the fact that it's been said that the Masonic secret today, those who are in secret lodges, secret handshakes, etc., they've sworn to not let the Moors know who they are. And that's one of the things that happened at Independence Carpenter's Hall in Philadelphia. And it was basically stated that George Washington basically said that they just had to remove the fez and the turbans from the Moor's head, and 200 years, and I'm paraphrasing, we would not know who we are. So it's just very important that once we know the truth, we can now walk in Noble Drew Ali's footstep in him doing his hop in 1913, pretty much now call all these Asiatics, letting them know that they're not Negro, Black, or colored people. And for us to proclaim our nationality, and proclaim it is, once again, like you said, imitate I, the prophet, walking in his footstep and carrying out his law today, the same way that Jesus is the fulfillment of his prophecy then. And these are Europeans. Then the Romans wanted to make sure that the people did not know what was going on, so they would ask them to basically now take an oath to prevent them from being killed because the seal got broken. So in the warning, Noble Drew Ali said that money doesn't make the man. It is free national standards and power that makes a man and a nation. The wealth of all nation governments, gold, silver, and commerce belong to the citizens alone, and without your national citizenship by name and principles, you have no true wealth. And I hereby call on all true citizens that stand for national free government and the enforcement of the Constitution to help me in my great missionary work, because I need all support from all true American citizens of the United States of America. I say that to say, in the same way, 2,000 years ago, Noble Drew Ali, being justice, was passionate about his work. He came back and put his record, put everything on the record in 1928. He pretty much now calling on all true Moors to follow in his footsteps to keep the truth going, similar to what I think it was Brother Winbush was pretty much now expounded upon. The truth needs to be told. So with that, I say Islam and peace. Back to the moderator.
Okay. Islam, thank you, brother. You're so true indeed. The truth needs to be told. We have a mighty work ahead of us, and we pull together. I know we can do it, but you're absolutely right. The truth has to be told. Islam, for the brother that stood by, you can come forward now. Islam? Islam, if you're not speaking, please mute your line. Islam, is someone trying to come in? Islam. Anyone else? Islam.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Shabbat Shalom to all Muslims on the call, all Muslims all over the world. Ever rise and give a perfect praises to Allah, the motherfucker of the universe. And all true divine prophets and our illustrious Hebrew prophets in these days, and Zion prophet, Noble Drew Ali. And I extended those honors to our Grand Sheikh and all officers and all on the call, all Muslims all over the world. Yes, this chapter is very symbolic too. of the position the NBCs find ourselves in today. As Negro, Black, Colored, etc., the position that is given or taken is dead in the view of the law. So even though alive, still dead. So this more demonstration that the Christ is more demonstrating is significant to us knowing our nationality and birthrights as to receive our rights as true citizens in this United States of America, our land. And the brother just stated, Brother Curtis Douglas, as far as the Christ coming to redeem these prisoners, these captives, these sick people, these courtesans, these murderers, etc. So, with that being said, let's more consider the mindset of these people. And when I thought about it, I said, these people are us. Yeah, really. Not that no other people are committing these atrocities, but we are a divine people. We are the ones, the ancient ones who are supposed to keep things in order. So if you yourself is not in order, no order can be kept because everything is symbolic and must be balanced. Yeah, nothing is before anything, signifying that unity. So these prisoners and this mindset that we have for the people that the Christ came for, that it's gonna take some work on the part of the individual who decides to make that journey, returning to his first form as above, so below. As above, we in the spiritual form. Below, spiritual form manifested in the flesh. When the spirit and the flesh meets, there's a friction going on there. So the stronger is gonna devour the weaker. So as our prophet came to redeem a nation, our nation, the Moabite nation, as we represent today, and have the proof to prove that. Being this Moorish American that our prophet tells us that we are we that today? There's a change we have to make. We have to go through a change. Thus, we have words which are vibration and can be a sword to cut off those unneeded parts that doesn't make us good people. So, lessons to study, lessons to be a part of, to live the true life. Islam, return the floor. Shabbat Shalom. See you later.
Islam. Thank you again, Deputy Sheikh McCall Bay. Thank you so much for those jewels. Is there anyone else that wants to exercise their five senses?
Islam.
Islam, brother.
Brother Georgia, calling out of Quebec Republic. I just want to exercise my five on this chapter. In this chapter, we can clearly see that Jesus didn't die on the cross. Because if I read from verse 9, the Jewish soldiers were alert. They thought his friends had come to steal the body of the Nazarene. The captain of the guards cried out to charge. They charged, but not a white-clad soldier fell. They did not even stop. They marched and countermarched, and among the frightened men, they stood upon the Roman seal. They did not speak. They unleashed not their words. It was the silent brotherhood. The Jewish soldiers fled in fear. They fell upon the ground. They stood apart until the white-clad soldiers marched away. And then the light about the tomb grew dim. Then they returned. The stone was in its place. The seal was not disturbed. And they resumed their watch. Now, Jesus did not sleep in the tomb. The body is manifest of soul, but soul is without his manifest. And in the realm of soul, unmanifest, the Lord went and he taught. He opened up the prison doors and set the prisoners free. So what the scripture is telling us here is that Christ did not die on the cross. After all this was all said and done, his body was manifest. He went doing his Father's work by opening up the prison doors, setting the prisoners free. He broke the chains of the captive soul and led the captive to the light. So, all the years we grew up in these Christian churches, they teach us that Christ died on the cross. But here in this chapter, you can clearly see that Christ did not die on the cross. This is what I wanted to bring forward. Islam and peace.
Islam, brother. Islam. We've all been, those that were part of that Christian demonstration have all been taught the same thing. This is, I'm not sure about others, but this was an eye-opening for me, to know the truth, even though, you heard the story growing up, and I know we had questions about it, but, like I was always told, the things that I didn't know that God didn't intend for me to know, or that I shouldn't question God, But praise Allah, He brought us our prophet, and he broke those seals, and he, showed us the truth, the light, and so we're so thankful for that. Islam,
sister.
Islam family. Is there anyone else that would like to exercise their five senses?
Islam. This is Sheikh Lawrence Young Bay, National Treasurer, Divine Minister, out of North Carolina Republic. First, I rise giving all perfect praises to Allah, to all our ancestors, some we know of, some we don't, and to all our true and divine prophets, just to name a few: Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, and Confucius, and the last prophet in these days and times, our Redeemer, our illustrious Hebrew prophet, Noble Drew Allah, in the first form, the second form, and the third form. I extend my honors to the forerunner for Noble Drew Allah, Marcus Mosiah Garvey, to our National Grand Sheikh, Grand Body, to the Sheikhs, Sheikhs, Deputy Sheikhs, brothers, sisters, parents, and students in our Sunday school, and everyone on the call, and everyone who wish they could be on the call. I greet you all with Islam. Happy Holy Night to all on the call, to all Muslims all around the world. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. I wanted to touch on something that was said was said in the commentary, was brought off and boss. And in the last verse in this chapter 18, it says each one of you shall have a silver piece, and we will make it right with Pilate for the breaking of the Roman seal. The soldiers did as they were paid to do. Now, we know that that's the way it is today, that some are getting paid and under the table and on the table and around the table. They're getting paid for things that they teach, and some of them don't know what it is that they teach, that they're leading their people into slaughter, so to speak, because they're leading them into an unconscious mind and keeping them in the dark, or keeping them black, keeping them Negro, keeping them colored. And Pontius Pilate was a friend of Jesus. And I know a brother, one of the brothers had said that he didn't die on the cross, and he was very true. It was very true. I think it was Brother Giorgio. And just another point that you can bring out that he didn't die on the cross was that after, when you on the cross, it wasn't made for you. It wasn't made for you to die right off hand. Then they would punish you on the cross, and then you would die on the cross. But what they did, they took him down from the cross. But if he was dead, if he died on the cross, Pontius Pilate had examiners to examine him and to find out if he was dead. So Pontius Pilate didn't have his doctors examine him. So that shows you right there that Pontius Pilate was for Jesus, and he washed his hands, like you say, wash his hands of it, because they were trying to kill Jesus. So they thought, and they figured they could kill him on a cross, either stone him to death, or either have him more or less die on the cross. But they didn't do either one. But as I was reading, they came upon first in verse 7. At midnight, all was well, but suddenly the tomb became a blaze of light, and down the garden walk a troop of white-clad soldiers marching in single file. They came up to the tomb and marched and countermarched before the door. The Jewish soldiers were alert. They thought his friends had come to steal the body of the Nazarene. The captain of the guard cried out to charge. Now they charged the white-clad soldiers. The white-clad soldiers didn't even pull their swords out their sheath, and they attacked them, and neither one of them fell. They just kept marching because they had a job to do. It was sent from Allah, so they had a job to do. Now, Jesus, who was at that time, he was in the tomb when a blaze of light came. He was able to change his flesh to divine, and that's what he did. And as Brother McCallbay had said, Deputy Sheikh McCallbay, excuse me, had said that the brother, his will, he had willed at will. He could change his will to will divine. He could change from a physical form and get out of the physical form and go into the plane of soul at will. And so he did. And so, but Jesus was before he did those things, Jesus wasn't always the Christ. And he became the Christ through trials and tribulations. And his first degree that he learned was sincerity. And he learned sincerity to the utmost. And the things that Jesus done, we will be able to do if we deal with the higher self. And it may take, we believe in reincarnation, it may take incarnations of time. But we'll be able to do the same thing. Jesus was showing the possibilities of man. He was showing you what you could do if you dealt with the higher self. And we know that at times we're going to have trials and tribulations, and that lower self is clever. It eases in when you least expect it. You know, it eases it in a way to where it'll make you get angry. Usually through emotion, that's the way it gets in. Somebody will get you angry, and you'll get upset, and you'll get on them about the least little thing. But you have to think that that's that lower self trying to get you to do that wrong. See, so you keep yourself on a higher plane if you possibly can. Now, the masters of all times and climes he met in the great assemblies, he stood forth and told the story of his life on earth and of his death and the sacrifice for men. So majority of these lessons that we learn, a lot of Christian people don't learn. Could you mute your phone? And he opened up the prison doors and he set people free. So when Jesus was, when they said, 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 when Jesus was, when they sa Adon Mashish Kaman, they said, Lord Jesus rise, and he rose. That was his reincarnation. He went other places, and even though he went other places, and he was teaching different places, and he was teaching, and he showed his wounds while he was teaching. He said, "See, these men have pierced my side, my hands, and everything," and he knew that these men wouldn't believe him unless he showed them wounds, because some people had to see those wounds in order to believe. But on the other hand, Jesus was very, very reluctant to explain to the masters and to all of them, even though they were masters. He was a master of masters, and he had to learn these things while he was in prison, while he was incarcerated. And once he was when I'm saying incarcerated, meaning they put him in a tomb thinking that they would be incarcerated, But actually, as he arose out of that tomb. Remember, he said, let me go through your dismal crypts, and I will pass every test that every man has said, And so that's what he meant. He meant, put me in the holes of death, and I will master that. And he mastered it. And that's why he was able to arise and leave when the Brotherhood called him. He knew their voice, and he just arose, and he went with them. But I just wanted to say that part just to drop a few jewels on you. Another thing that usually you find some Christians, Asiatics, unbeknown to them, they wear a crucifix around their neck. And in John 19:19, Jesus of Nazareth, the King of the Jews, as they refer to it, translated from the Greek Iusis, Loceros, Lazarus, Ardurus, but in the Latin Vulgate read Iesus, Nosaurus Rex Aedu Rum. This is usually abbreviated with the I, the N, the R, and the I. If you see crucifix, some of them crucifixes that they wear, they have it on it. But that was just another false way in which they had us believe, because during that time, of course, we know that, or at least some of us know that they didn't use the J during that time. So I-N-R-I, as on the status, imagery, on the statues rather, in Shapalama, and imagery, because there was no J. And I wanted to say that those are some other points that you could. There's a lot of jewels in this particular chapter, or many jewels in this chapter. In fact, all the chapters have jewels in them. But that was just some things I wanted to say to more or less enlighten you, or to put your mind on a different mental plane. So with that, I'll say peace and blessings, and I'll turn it back into the hands of the moderator, Deputy Sheikh Curlin Youngbe, Islam.
Islam. Thank you, Divine Minister. Thank you for those jewels, as always. At this time, Morris, if there are no other demonstrations for this chapter, we will start to close out. As always, we like to acknowledge and welcome any guests or visitors who may have joined us this evening and give them an opportunity to introduce themselves. Islam, at this time, if there are any visitors or guests on the call, please unmute your phones, give us your name and where you're calling from. Press star, and you have the floor. Islam?
Greetings.
Islam.
Islam, sister. My name is Sean. I'm calling from New York. I'm a Hebrew, and I've just been listening in and enjoying the conversation. Thank you for allowing me.
Islam, Sean. It was a pleasure to have you, and I'm praying that we've said something that has helped you to understand a little more, or want to come back and join us again on next Friday's creation. Islam?
Absolutely, Islam.
Islam. Thank you, brother.
Amen.
Islam, I would like to thank you all for your presence and positive energy and for your participation on the call tonight, all the beautiful demonstrations. And again, we're trusting that you've heard something that gives you cause to join us again next Holy Night's creation. Inshallah. Islam. At this time, I have a few announcements. Our Moorish Children's Sunday School is every Sunday at 12 noon, with our adult Sunday school immediately following. Join us by dialing in at 443-961-4434. Our Sunday school conference call playback for anyone who is interested in listening to or reviewing our Sunday school recordings can go to our website at Moorish American National Republic.com and go to the resource tab to the Sunday school recording to access our recordings. Sunday school enrollment, those interested can send an email to sundayschool@MoorishAmericanNationalRepublic.com for registration and to receive your info packet. Please include the names of all your children, their ages, birth dates, and school grades. Our town hall conference call is every Sunday evening at 7:30, where we discuss the national side of the movement. Please join us by dialing in at 443-961-4434. Our Moorish School of Law and History classes, I think on the 30th of June will be our orientation for our third class. You can still register on our website at Moorish American National Republic for further instructions. Our Friday night, our Friday night Holy Night call is every Friday evening at 9 p.m. You can join us by dialing 443-961-4434. Our members forum call is every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Members in good standing can send an email to webmaster@MoorishamericanNationalRepublic.com for instructions. Our Sisters Auxiliary call is every fourth Thursday of each month. Sisters wanting to connect with other feminine energy can send an email to sistersauxiliary13@gmail.com for instructions. Young Men's Business League is every third Thursday of each month. For those interested, can send an email to the Young Men's Business League@gmail.com. Skills and Talents Committees, our committees need your leadership and skills. Those interested can visit our website at MoorishamericanNationalRepublic.com. At this time, we will open the floor for any announcements from our national officials. Islam?
Islam. 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 I would like to give an announcement for the Treasury and this is for the Treasury. This is Sheikh Lawrence Youngbay, National Treasurer and Divine Minister out of the North Carolina Republic. This administrative announcement is to the members. When mailing your dues, please include your dues card with a photocopy of your dues card. In the upper right-hand corner of your dues card, you will see the letters DON and a blank line beside it, which stands for date of naturalization. Write the date you were naturalized on that line. If DON is not written on the right-hand corner, write the date anyway on the right-hand, up in the upper right-hand corner of your dues card. Make 2 copies. Keep 1 copy home for your record. Include the month and year you are paying your dues. Also, if you change your address, please indicate so with a note when you mail your dues card. This is so we can update and mark your records correctly. This concludes my administrative announcement for the Moorish Science Temple, the Divine and National Movement of North America, Incorporated, number 13, Moorish American National Republic. I turn it back into the hands of the moderator, Islam.
Islam. Thank you, Divine Minister. At this time, we will proceed with the reading of the divine warning by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Islam. Divine warning by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Prophet warns all Muslims, governors order to read proclamation at each meeting. I hereby inform all members that they must end all radical or agitating speeches while at work, in their homes, or on the street. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards at Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be of severe consequences. We are for truth, we are for love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And when these principles are violated, justice must then take its course. Any member or group of members who hold malicious feelings toward the temple or the prophet or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deed. All true Moors will and must obey the law as laid down to them by their prophets. If they lose confidence in their prophets, they should turn in their card and button, cease wearing their turban and fez, and return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, and if the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet, therefore, is sending out the divine plea to all Moorish Americans that they do their part in protecting their prophet and the temple. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sinful ways by order of Prophet Noble Drew Ali. At this time, I'm just going to check to see if the Grand Sheikh is available. Islam? Islam. At this time, we will unmute our lines to confirm ourselves to ourselves by the reading of the Holy Covenant of the Asiatic Nation. You can find that on page 35 of your Circle 7, chapter 25. Please unmute your lines, and Divine Minister will take us through.
Islam, the holy covenant of the Asiatic nation. Please repeat after me. We are the children of one Father.
We are the children of one Father,
provided for by His care. And the breast of one mother has given us suck.
And the breast of one mother has given us suck.
With the bonds of affection, therefore, unite us with our brothers and sisters. That peace and happiness may dwell in our Father's house.
That peace and happiness may dwell in our Father's house.
And when we separate in the world, remember the relation that bindeth us to love and unity.
Remember
the relation that bindeth us to love and unity.
And prefer not a stranger before our own blood.
And prefer not a stranger before our own blood.
If our brother in adversity assist him.
If thy brother assist them.
If our sister is in trouble, forsake her not.
If our sister
is in trouble, forsake her not.
So shall the fortunes of our Father.
So
shall the fortunes of our Father
contribute to the support of His whole race.
Contribute to the support of His whole race.
And His care be continued to you all.
And
His care be continued to us all.
And our love to each other.
And our love each other.
Islam Moors. We're now bringing our meeting to a close with our Moorish American prayer. Those who are able, please stand facing the east, arms perpendicular to the floor, feet at a 45-degree angle, 5 fingers extended on the left hand, and 2 fingers on the right. Islam. Allah, Father of the universe, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation. By night and by day, through His holy prophet, through Ali, Ameen. Islam families, thank you all for joining and participating with us this creation. Till we meet again, inshallah. Stay safe and sane. Peace and more love, Moors. Peace.